Yeah, they're the hottest team in our league right now. I mean, they're averaging 41 points a game over their last 4 games, and that's what traditionally, normally we break down the last 4 to see how they're doing, and then if there's somebody that we have a common opponent that is scheme-wise, which we don't usually, but we'll look at that too. But their last 4 games, they're averaging 41 points. They're averaging 481 yards a game. They're rushing for 244, and they're throwing for 237. So they're scary. I mean, they're big. They're physical. They've got a couple playmakers out on the edge, and they've got a slot receiver that, I mean, we haven't faced anybody quite as dynamic as him so far. Their running back tries to kill you when he lines you up. I mean, they don't have to worry about missing, because our guys won't miss tackles because they get juked, because he tries to find them and he hunts you up. And then Tyler Huntley's, I mean, he's big. He can throw it. He'll run over you. It's like being in the Wildcat formation almost every time with a guy that can throw it. So they present a lot of problems, and we'll try and put the best thing we can together to go have some fun. A lot of misdirection. I mean, you've got a lot of, because their quarterback is such a dynamic ball carrier, they'll pull guards one way and run him out the other. They do a lot of fly sweep. It's a lot of misdirection to try and get you looking somewhere else and then hit you up the gut. If you're not disciplined with your eyes, they can get some really big plays on you. That the normal teams, I mean, if you have really good linebackers that can read guards and they pull, the ball will be going the other way. So I mean, we got to give them some stuff that you have to be sound so that you can attack both plays and be able to cover that. They have some triple option stuff to their scheme. That's not your traditional fullback dive. I mean, it's out of different formations. I mean, they might hand it off. They might run the power read. They might hand off the fly and then come back with the counter going the other way. So it's a lot of stuff, and now that they've been, I mean, I think Huntley's first game was the second half of the Arizona State game last year, was his first big action. And from that point on, they've kind of decided what plan they're going to be, how they're going to roll. And I think the turning point of their season so far was probably Northern Illinois. In the second half of that game, they found some things out of their 12 personnel package, the 2 tight ends. And from that point on, they've just continued to build and build and build, and now they're like a freight train. I mean, like I said, they're putting up 481 and 41 points a game. So they're coming in here with a lot of confidence.
With Davidson going down, it seems like you're looking at Shannon playing some nose. Is that a function of what George has been able to do at that end position?
Yes, I think George has done a great job moving out there. He's made quite a few plays. He's playing his tail off effort-wise. Shannon gives us some stuff inside. I mean, he's a little bit heavier than George, but he's got the quick twitch that Rennell does. I think Rennell was it was a welcome back to see Rennell play the way he did on Saturday. He was very disruptive on a lot of things. He played with great effort, and he had disappeared a little bit for about 5 games, and to see him give some effort like he did. I don't think it was lack of effort the first 5 games. He just kind of disappeared. He wasn't doing the same things, and he showed up on Saturday with the mindset ready to play, and he did some good stuff. So losing DJ hurts. Luckily, he should be back by spring ball so that we can get him prepared for next year. George has a lot of reps inside, so if Shannon has some trouble inside, which I don't anticipate, I mean, he's been really good in practice so far, we could always put George back in there. But we're going to go with Shannon in there and George outside, and then Jermaine, Lole, and Jalen Bates will be on the outside, and Michael Matus has been practicing with us a little bit this week. Another benefit of that 4-game rule, I mean, he's quick and he can do some things to get in their backfield. It's going to be a very similar deal to Stanford. If we can get in their backfield and get some negative plays and make them decide to cut before they get downhill, then we'll have a chance to stop them. I mean, that's going to be the key. I mean, play aggressive, and if we're aggressive, we'll have a chance, and it'll be fun. It's going to be physical. It is the type of football game that I like to watch. I mean, it's what I like to be a part of, and so. I mean, we were watching the game yesterday or practice yesterday, and at one point there was 18 dudes on the ground. The only 2, the quarterback wasn't, and our 2 deep safeties weren't. And here I am wondering why the two safeties ain't getting up in there jumping on the pile, and Coach Edwards is going, oh my God, look at that. I mean, it's different. I mean, you don't see that in the NFL. So this has been something fun for him to watch. I mean, at times it's going to look like a rugby scrum, which if you like physical football, it'll be fun. It was good. You know, I mean, I think week to week we're making progress on things. I mean, I shared some stuff. I break down the games after we watch them to see where we're making improvement, where we're not making the improvement that we would like, where we're lacking. I mean, obviously the 2-minute stuff right now is killing us. I mean, if you go back and you watch that game, we show signs of the ability to be pretty good, and in the future we're going to keep getting better. The first 28 minutes and 16 seconds of that game, they run 28 plays. They have 41 total yards of offense and no points against the defense. We go out, we get a targeting penalty. The first play, we make an assignment error. One of our defensive ends sticks his nose inside when it's supposed to collapse the pocket and cover 2 in that situation, do not give the quarterback a running lane. And Jack Sears rushes for a 22-yard gain. We stop them on first down. We stop them on second down. We have a 3rd and 4, and we get a pass interference call. That gives them another first down there. We have a coaching error. We have a substitution error, which we should never try and substitute on in the 2-minute situation when they're trying to hurry up. We made a mistake doing that. We'll get that corrected. That was addressed. And then we have an assignment error on the touchdown. Well, they go down and they go 75 yards in just under a minute and 12 seconds. And we give up a touchdown when they hadn't been able to move the ball much all day. So we give them a little bit of confidence. And then we come out in the third quarter, and we talked about it all week about the third quarter adjustments. Third quarter's been tragedy around here. Well, I mean, you can do things differently and address. I mean, I think sometimes when you harp on something, it becomes an issue, and now they're thinking about it. So we probably harped on it too much because they come out, and that was their best drive of the game. And our worst with assignment errors. We had a 9-play, 87-yard drive, and we have 3 assignment errors and 2 penalties. And we don't make a play in cover. We have 2 chances to make a play in coverage on that drive that we don't, and they score a touchdown. Now they've got the momentum. We fumble the ball on offense on our own 36. It's our job to go out there and stop them, make them punt, make them try a field goal, get the ball back for the offense. And in one play, they run a double pass, and we got a guy that's in position to make a play and doesn't make a play in coverage, and that's Kobe. And then we got a free safety coming over the top. Kobe's in the right spot. We're playing zone. He read it. He just doesn't make the play. Kobe Williams probably made the play of the game the next series. They go down. They have a long, deep ball where we get our safety gets sucked up on run play action. He comes over from the corner, and he knocks the ball out as it's caught. And I think, in my opinion, that's the difference in the game, because if they make that touchdown, they go up now. They're up by 2 scores. I mean, it's going to be 34-21 or 35-21, and there's a chance that we may not overcome that. He makes a play, we stop him. From that point on, 9:26 in the third quarter, they get 112 or 116 yards more of offense until the last drive. We score a touchdown, they get the ball back, and another 2-minute situation that we don't perform very well. The good thing is, like I said earlier in the season on those first 2 wins, when you win games, it's easier to coach those guys. I was a bear in the meeting on Sunday because we played dominant defense for 28 minutes, and then we relax. And then we go through a spell. It's about a 13-play spell that they end up with their 21 points that they scored against us. And then we go again, and we go on a dominant range until we relax. We think the game's over, and we go out there. Now, like I said, we played a little bit of softer coverage. The first one we played cover 2. The second one we blitz him, and he makes a bad throw. The third one we blitz him. We get him into, they had to clock it on one of them. We get him into a 4th down, and I went 3-man rush, drop 8. Probably should have ran 4-man rush, but dropping the playing in cover 2 was probably the right call in that situation because they only had 35 seconds. The clock's running, and it's an ultimate sin by a safety in cover 2 to get beat deep, especially in that situation. Well, I said it last week. Welcome to college football, Cam Phillips. It's your 4th play as in college football against USC against a great receiver. And The poor young man sent me a text that night, which I absolutely loved because it bothered him. It was just tearing him up that had happened. And as coaches, I mean, he was worried that we lost confidence in him. Man, he's a freshman. It was his 4th play of his college career in a big-time atmosphere. I promise you, he gets in that situation again, it's going to be different. And that's going to benefit us in the future. Now, thank God we won the game, because it wasn't a game-changing play at that point, because Nikhil did a nice job on the onside kick. But he learned from it. I put him in a situation that he probably wasn't ready for. But he's going to be better for it as we get going. We show signs and flashes of dominance with some missing pieces. If they continue on this path, we're going to be great. Now, giving up 35 points, that drives me absolutely crazy. We gave up the punt return, which we've got a bunch of defensive guys on that play that should make the tackle. We give up the last touchdown that you shouldn't give up. We play really good, and then we collapse for little pockets. They know. I tell them. Like I say, I don't sugarcoat anything. And I tell them, you know, when they're good, they get the credit. When we screw up, it's on me. We need to coach those 9 minutes better. We need to coach 2-minute better. We need to coach the assignment errors better. And within that time, when they're playing really good, we're still making some block reaction stuff that we don't do right. But they're playing hard enough that we're making up for some of those mistakes. The 4th and 1 coming off the improvement, I think the sideline was really good, and I thought that was a big part of the game. I thought that was a big turning point. They kicked the field goal, it's tied, who knows? I was glad they went for it, and I was glad that when they called timeout, Coach White did a great job. He saw what personnel they had in there, gave us plenty of time to talk through the whole situation. They did a great job, and Vernell Wren was awesome. Did just like he did against Michigan State. Went forward, and then you could tell a little spark on our sideline, and the offense goes right down. And I think we punted, and then we stopped them again, and then we got the ball back and score. I mean, they punted with 4 minutes to go. They thought they were going to stop us, and our offense did a great job and ran the clock out. Well, they scored a touchdown. I wish they'd have ran the clock out, but they scored a touchdown. So I think it was, sorry to get back to your question, I think yes, it did give us some momentum coming to the side. These tangents, they get old, sorry.
Sorry, Coach.
Yes. You know what, Jalen, he's made a great transition from when we started in the spring to where he is now. Now, he only played 13 plays on Saturday, and there was a little bit of a drop-off because he's been getting all the reps and all the game reps, and then Evan came in and Daz came in, and the combination of those two spelled him, and Jalen was missed a little bit. Now, Evan did a nice job on some plays. He'll be better this week. Jalen has practiced this week. We'll see how he's going to be tomorrow for sure. When you get a stinger, those things they're person to person. I mean, sometimes he can play, and the very first hit, if he loses strength, then the doctors will pull him out, and the right thing to do, and so we're preparing that way. But the intangibles that he brings is, one, he's very physical. He likes to play. He plays with that hair on fire attitude that we've been talking about around here, and he's trying to become a leader. Now I think 8 and 37 are becoming the vocal ones around here. That's Merlin and Darian. But in the secondary, he's right 99% of the time on where he's supposed to line up in the shots that he's taken, which early in the season it wasn't even close to that. So give him a lot of credit for the preparation that he's doing week to week. If everybody would prepare as hard as he is, we could be really, really good. We've still got a lot of young guys that don't know how to do that yet. And he's helping to lead that on. And as soon as those guys understand and it's brushing off from him, that's when you elevate. That's when you are making plays because you're anticipating what they're doing. Jalen is kind of getting to that point. He's seeing gaps open up, and he's running through them. And the ability, that position gives him the ability to do that. I don't put any rules on that guy. Their rule is to make plays. And if they don't make plays, they get fired. They don't get coached differently, they get fired, because that is a football player that they have to have some natural ability to react, because it's not a traditional position. You You don't take on linemen and wrong shoulder run back to a linebacker. You can run up there and act like you're going to and then dip underneath his legs and tackle the guy with your, I mean, I don't care how they do it. As long as they're making plays, it fits within the scheme because we're going to funnel all the stuff to that guy. And if you don't have that guy, you got to do things different. And he's developing to that. Now, Tyler Wiley in preseason, he was developing to that guy. So hopefully next year between him and a couple of the freshmen and Evan, those guys will be able to continue to do what Jalen has built on so far.
Coach Herm said on Monday in regards to the overall team mentality that it doesn't take talent to have effort. It just takes a big part.
I agree.
Given the adversity that the team went through in the middle of the season, the defense as a whole, what do you see as their mindset heading down the final stretch with so much still in reach for this team?
They believe in what we're doing as a defense and as a program. Everything's going in the right direction. There has not been any dissent. I mean, the ones that, I mean, there's, in all program changes, you're going to have guys that don't believe what you're doing. Well, those guys usually eliminate themselves. And we've had a few of that, and that's okay. There's a belief system going on that we're going to be successful. And so week to week, I mean, on Saturday, you saw a little bit of it the first half on defense. After about the third series, we had 5, the fifth one, the 2-minute. The third series, those guys came over to the sideline with that look of, we were the more dominant physical team. That's fun when you play like that. We can't relax. We have to continue to develop that killer instinct. They've won some games around here. They've never been in a position where when you get a team down 24-7, the ball game should be over. You should suffocate them. We let them back in. We didn't let them back in. We let them take the lead. That's the missing piece right now, is getting that where you step on somebody's throat and you just finish them off. We'll continue to build that. They're getting a little bit of a taste of it. And the thing that makes me really proud of them is when things go bad, there's no panic. We gave up the 2 touchdowns. We gave up the 21 points in that spurt, and they still believe in what we're doing. They know it's going to work. And they're overcoming a lot of the things because, like you said, effort. You don't have to be the most talented guy in this game to be good. The great equalizer in football is physical, just beating somebody up. And if they're more talented than you, but you're tougher than they are, you're going to win a lot of those battles. And that's what we're continuing to instill in our guys. We're going to be, and it goes back to when I said when I first got here, you do the research of this program. Coach Cush had those guys believing that every time they stepped on the field, they were the physical dominant team. It didn't matter who stepped in here. We were going to beat them up. We're going to physically dominate them and beat them up. That's the direction we're heading. And if we can do that, not only on defense, but become a culture of that on offense, we're going to pound the ball and be able to throw it. And when we throw it, you catch it and you run somebody over and you try and destroy them. When you tackle somebody, you tackle the first guy and hold him up, and the next 3 or 4 come through and they try and just end his day. That's the mentality that we want. And effort will get you there.